afraid. I'm sitting there like, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Check out whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Ask Mathis. I'm your host, Reggie Mathis, and rocking with me is my brother Wild Man Teddy T, aka Baron Theo Mound-builder. And of course, we have, it used to be Captain Spock, but now, we'll give him the name of the black astronaut who just came back. You know what I mean? That's a little more current era, man. But our brother, none other than Step, man. So, getting this thing crunk with, is this not the luckiest unlucky man in the world? In Kodak Black, bro. Kodak gets out.
Pumping those fast.
Exit 36, know your bow. But as soon as he get out, man, them folks done wrote him up and got him again, man. But
Yak need an intervention, man. He need an intervention real bad.
Well, supposedly he in rehab. Well, strike that. What I sent you, I don't know if that's the latest one I sent you, but he done shaved his head, saying he got to start off fresh. He got to start off.
That's what he doing.
Off new. I mean, but you know what? That's the Pompano way. I promise you. That's one of the things is, that our guys would do whenever, like, a season starts, football, basketball, just to go in there shows commitment. We used to call it a zero. Now, we did the zero, you cut your eyebrows off, your eyelashes, no facial hair, nothing.
That sound like hazing.
Hey, you call it that, I call it togetherness. I call it, bonding. I call it bonding. Everybody coming in and whatnot, man. But some people like that look a little too much because they look very menacing, especially when you got the goals. And when you talking about goals in the 80s, goals in the 80s wasn't no pullouts. You had to be committed. You had to be committed. Shout out to my man, Corey Lock, man. I remember being on the bench with Lock. And I think we was playing Cardinal Gibbons or either Northeast. And I'm on the bench next to Lock. And Brett had the zero. No eyebrows, no eyelashes, no facial hair. And he had a gold grill and he black as midnight. And the dude came over there to take the ball out. And he just started, I felt so bad. He was telling the Caucasian boy that was taking the ball out, calling him the C word and saying he would crash his, S word. He's like, see, I crash you. I had never heard that up until that time, but I knew exactly what he meant the way he was saying it. And the dude was just shaking with the ball. He was right over in front of us passing the ball in. He say, see, I crash you. Like, wow, bro. So shout out to Yak, man. Yak, and good stuff, man, with whatever judge he has. He did a smart thing by getting Brad Cohen. Brad Cohen, is the wonder kid in Broward County. Like, Broward County, all the judges, if they don't like him, they respect him, and he's put that work in. He put that work in Broward. So shout out to Yak, he got him a real one, and they show every time, as long as he paying old boy, Buddy gonna come in there, he gonna get him out.
They gave Yak the key to the city.
They did.
Of Pompano. And,
they did, and then arrested him for giving people air conditioning and loitering. They went back to the old Yak saying, bro, you been trespassed out of here. He's like, but I'm rich now. Hey, son, I'm buying everybody rent. I'm paying for everybody's rent for all this time. It's like, he'll do something, he'll take 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. But,
one of the commissioners didn't take too kindly of them giving Yak the key to the city. You know,
Which one? The black commissioner?
Nah, the Fezzik.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, her people is on the beach side.
Right.
And she ain't take too kindly of.
You know, but sometimes, you know, we have to understand. Like I just literally finished the deposition, and it was of a black female officer, right? And it was via Zoom, and I was like, we got to do better, bro. Like, we got to do better.
Why?
Man, she was horrible, bro. She was horrible. It was horrible, bro. She was totally unprepared. Totally unprepared. Was like, you know, like for instance, I was like, so, did you have the services of an interpreter when you spoke to the victim? She was like, no. I said, well, do you speak Spanish? She was like, no. Then I'm like, then how you spoke to the victim if the victim didn't speak English? She's like, I don't know. But I'm like, man, I was just like, wow, like.
She was a public defender?
No, police officer.
Oh, she was
She was investigating. She's the arresting officer for for this particular case, and I'm like, well, you know, clearly, it lists 4 other people as the aggressors and the people who, you know, it was a battery on a detainee. So shout out to my folks that's locked down right now that's checking us out. So it was a battery on a detainee. So y'all need to know that is camera angles everywhere. So when y'all try to pull up the little blanket to conceal the camera, just know it's other cameras, man. And so, like, yeah. So we dealing with one of those where it's like you see the blanket go up, which is like you trying to conceal the camera.
It gets them every
time. They just go in and just start doing whatever. Now my guy is listed as an observer. He's listed as an observer. So he's listed as an observer. I'm like, why is he the only one charged, man? She's like, oh, because the way I do it, it generates an A form. I say, no, ma'am, not an A form for each defendant. I'm talking about the actual charging document. Like, why are the other people, the one who started stomping this dude out, and all their names are listed, why are they not charged? She's like, I don't know. It depends on who could identify from the video, because, you know, I rely on the correctional officer, because I don't know these people. The correctional officer comes in there, looks at the video with me, and says, that's, you know, Charlie, James, Bobo, and Tony. You know, like that. I'm just like, okay. I'm just looking at all the stuff that's like.
And he the only one charged.
He the only one charged, but he's listed in her own report as an observer. But then she's like, yeah, toward the end, he got to stomp in, right? But I'm like, all right, we'll see. But those cases don't usually ever go to trial because, you know, first of all, you're talking about people who are already awaiting trial in whatever they got going on, and they just frustrated. So when you got something going on already and you frustrated, you don't have, you know, your patience is kind of thin. So you might go off on somebody or whatever, but you like, man, just leave it alone, because if you end up being a victim, right, in that case, your lawyer is going to likely advise you not to cooperate, because they're going to come in and get to question you about, you know, not only the incident, but potentially get into other areas that could hurt the case you really got, that you really had going on.
Oh, okay.
But with so many fights and batteries in the jails, they had to just take on a new policy. So in the last 2 years, they've been arresting the people and charging them. Like it used to be handled administratively, but it just got out of hand. So there's like, nah, it ain't working.
So if two cases are running consecutively, you can use the information from one and attribute it to the other?
If it's relevant, you have to file what's called Williams Rule. So Williams Rule is if you want to use prior bad acts, you have to file within 10 days of the trial saying that, this is relevant, and you have to establish, that it's either identification, for reasons of identification, lack of mistake, motive, it's certain things that you have to be able to demonstrate and prove. It's like Zorro with the knife, with the sword. Like every time, he done zoom, it's like a trademark. So you basically got to say, like, every time this guy, comes in and like robs a house or whatever, he leaves like a red rose or something like that. You got to say it's so similar, like that's his MO. That like that's what he does. He backs up with a, he puts a blanket up to the camera every time. That's his MO. And it don't have to be like, depending on who your judge is. That's where the judges matter, because you got some judges that are so pro-government that they let anything go, and then you got some that's totally to the left and don't let nothing go. So so who you have as a judge is very important, man.
What you think would be most consistent? That judges go with the letter of the law,
yes,
or the motive of the law, in lack of
right.
better
Well, so in every law you have what's called, you have a black letter law, which is just XYZ. That's what it is. But then you have the spirit of the law, or what's called the public policy. Like, we're doing it to prevent this. That's what we here to do, is trying to prevent this. So, for instance, when I was a state attorney, there were a few cases that the letter of the law says, prosecute, but, Kathy Fernandez Rundle was like, as a, policy of this office, we're not going to prosecute, public urination. You know what I mean? Like, if you got to go and looking for a place, you don't find it, and you end up, going or whatever to relieve yourself. That's something she's like, we're not gonna prosecute, And then I remember we had this one county court judge. I won't say her name, even though she's retired now. But if you was charged with petty theft and it was like food,
she'll take it down.
She'd be like, state. She'd be like, state. They're like, yes. And she's like, did you read the A form? It's like, yes, Sean. And you say, you see what that is? It's like food, less than $10 for food. And she'll give you opportunity to, like, because they'll be like 10 days jail, like on some stuff like that. And when she says, like, you got to learn to read, because when you're in county court, these are the prosecutors that's straight out of law school. So your first job is county court. So you come in from there, and you doing prostitution and weed possession and battery, club fights and stuff like that. When you take it very, very seriously, which I did. I was one of them until, like, one of my mentors, he came and told me, he was like, Reg, he said, if it was that serious, he told me, man, which really just bust my bubble. He said, bruh, they could come and null price every case in county court, in misdemeanor court right now, and nothing's going to change. And I just was like, wow, I'm stressing. He's like, bro, we can go in there and just drop every case in misdemeanor court right now. Every one of them. Every one of them. Because he said if it was that serious, it'd be a felony. So it made me think different about You know, but I know when you starting off, you take it seriously. You getting paid. You know, you in there, you got a job to do and whatnot. But when you in there, man, you know, you just like, wow.
So question, who would be the person to establish the spirit of the law?
The legislature. Like, so the legislature.
Whoever wrote it.
Yeah, when they write the law, when they have the debates, you know, when they going back and forth or whatever, you know, they say, like, what it is, and they put it down. And when the law is unclear, that's when it becomes more relevant. Like now, when you have, for instance, not the Florida, but the United States Supreme Court, you know, this term, when they were arguing the 14th Amendment and birthright citizenship, you know, you had folks who were arguing, like Trump was arguing that the 14th Amendment specifically was drafted for free slaves, you know, because they were specifically, you know, written out, you know, when they were forming congressional districts. So the 3/5 was not saying, you know, 3/5 is effed up, period. But it wasn't, it's not as degrading as common, you know, the people believe it to be.
Literally.
They only thought we was 3/5 of a person. No, that's, the 3/5 was a compromise. It was a mathematical compromise because the North did not want the South, who was all the prejudice and all the racism and all that stuff was going on. They wanted to count every one of us, because to count every one of us, that would have increased their numbers. So the folks in the North was like, we don't want to count none of them because they don't have rights. So we don't want to count any of them because, you know what I mean? Like, y'all just going to use the number that y'all have to increase y'all numbers to vote. But they not voting, so that's where the 3/5 compromise came in. That was a mathematical compromise. It wasn't like who feels like, you know, we not human, even though they treated us that way. But the 3/5 is not, you know, but it's kind of taking on a life of its own. They didn't even think we was human. And that part was true. But that 3/5 was not necessarily that. That was a mathematical compromise for political expedience. But they were arguing like that it was for the free slaves. And you would think around that particular time, like, that was what it was for. You know, because the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments were basically passed at the same time. The 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, you know, not the Emancipation Proclamation. It was literally the 13th Amendment, abolished slavery, involuntary servitude, except for prisoners. So when you get into Jim Crow and you get into all that stuff, you see about the creation of the prison industrial complex. You know, you start making like loitering laws. You know, people getting years on work camps to essentially fill the void left by the ending of slavery. So you had to find another way to get the numbers quickly and then just put them in these long-term sentences, basically going back to an indentured servitude model, which is how it was before they just went to straight-up chattel slavery. So that argument was actually pretty good. Like, when Trump first started saying it back in 2016, talking about anchor babies and, you know, folks who are just coming here just to have children and they're citizens. He's like, they don't do that anywhere else in the world. They don't do that anywhere else in the world. You can't just be there, born there, and be a citizen. So why should we be giving folks citizenship or whatever? You know, but, you know, just the way the Supreme Court, because I was listening to that argument, the way the Supreme Court was doing it, they was like, they used the Native Americans, and they were using other examples of like diplomats, like foreign diplomats. When they're born over here, their children do not get American citizenship because they don't have an intent to follow the laws of the U.S. Because literally, Like an embassy, a consulate, whatever is considered that country's territory. It's like reservations. So if Ethiopian embassy, like when they're there, it's like they in Ethiopia, even though they're in Miami. They're in Ethiopia as far as that consulate, and you see them with the diplomatic tags and the plates. So they get pulled over, by the cops. It's just like they be like, slow down. They like slow down or whatever.
Never knew that.
But they not subject to our laws. It's like we can kick them out like we do all the time. Like we mad at Russia or whatever. We like, all y'all leave. Like all y'all get out. Y'all move or whatever. But
we don't have the jurisdiction to prosecute.
Nope. So those are the type of issues, and so it was interesting for me to like hear the arguments or whatever. But Clarence Thomas says, he gonna find a way to do whatever Trump wants.
Good old Clarence.
And they still trying to pressure him to resign. They still trying to pressure him to resign so Trump can get, at least one more Supreme Court pick. They want to get a young conservative that's gonna be there for the next 30, 40 years. So they're looking at Uncle Clarence. Uncle Clarence ain't ready to go. Uncle Clarence ain't ready to go. He's like, my son, give you everything. My son, give you everything. And he's like, yeah, Clarence, you been a good old boy. But, we need you to do the right thing.
What you think he gonna do?
I think he gonna resign. Bro, do you know how many passes they giving this man? Like, this man, was taking private jet flights from a billionaire and not disclosing it in his, in his financial disclosures. This same man bought his mom a whole house. A whole house, bro. A whole house for his mama. Vacationing at this man's spot.
Clarence been eating high off the hog.
He been eating super high off the hog. Like, he like, hey, it's the price you gotta pay, man. But for your soul, though, bro, like, could you do it, Step? Could you do it? Could you be that guy that just, walk proudly with the MAGA hat on, that's coming in and go through the old neighborhood?
I believe some of them, that's just how they think.
That's a level of freedom I wish I had.
When you're doing it so long, I don't think it's faking it. I don't think
that's a level of freedom that I wish I had, bro. The way I was raised, like my kids don't understand it. They don't understand it. So I'm not doing a good enough job with them. Cause it's like, Dad, like in the morning, like I could be tired, but Saturday morning, I'm usually going to a 100 black man meeting, or I'm going to a fraternity meeting, or I'm going to some community service project, or I'm doing something. My kids just like, like they
have no clue.
They having parties, all-nighters. They got the pizza. They got all the stuff going on.
They ain't never walked nowhere in their life.
And then when I get up, to go out, he's like, hey, Dad, love you. See you later. And I'm just like, y'all don't understand what pay it forward means. Like, that's how I was raised. People poured into me at the boys club, exposed me to things, and I would tell any and everybody, it's all about exposure. All about exposure. I remember being the boy of the year for the boys club, and they used to have this thing called a Dan Marino steak and burger dinner. And it started like around his rookie season, because I remember I was boy of the year my 8th and 9th grade. So I was 83 and 84. I got to sit with him twice. But back then, I remember we was laughing at all the people because they paid $500 to eat hamburgers for the kids to eat steak. Right? And you know what I mean? And it was, I guess the people who came up with the concept of the program was like, yeah, these kids probably eating plenty of burgers in their life, but how many of them had steaks.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like, you paid $500
Eat some hamburger.
and you eat some hamburger.
Why they kids
So
eat steak?
these kids eat the steak. So we sitting up there at the table, we tearing up the steaks or whatever. And I'm a kid, but I have been exposed. Like, that's what we did. Like on birthdays or when we went out. My dad loved steak. And I was the cuffs of the steak. Like, you got some A1, I'll do it. So I'm like, hey, get me a steak, I'm with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember sitting next to Dan Marino a couple times and just seeing like how the fans, man, would just come over to the table. Well, he was getting liquored up, bruh. They'd like come over to the table like, oh, damn, like, what, get you a drink. What you drinking? And bro, I'm just sitting there watching him. He just pounding him, man. He pounded, man. But to beat Dan Marino in the 80s, oh my, bro.
Down in Miami?
To beat Dan Marino in the early 80s, when you got Miami Vice on TV, you got all that on TV, you got cocaine cowboys running around, and you got Mercury Morris. I think he might have been in prison at that time.
He was like,
no, he was in the 70s. He was with the undefeated guys, but I think he may have been in. You know who he had to deal with? Was it the wide receiver that had the federal trial, and then the man came over to federal court?
Clayton and Duper?
Yeah, but they got in trouble. But he used to play for San Diego. And they traded him to the Dolphins. He was a great wide receiver. And they traded him. He was from Miami. He grew up in Miami, but was playing for San Diego, and they bought him over here. And Dan Marino showed up at the man, and he ended up getting, like, probation or something like that. Like, Dan showed up in court, was just, like, can't even imagine anybody having that type of clout now.
Dan was the only superstar in the area at that time.
Yeah, because when he started, the Heat didn't come to, I think, like 89 or something. So it wasn't even no basketball. And even the Marlins, I don't think the Marlins were even here yet. So it was all, and you still had Shula. You still had Shula here.
Yeah, he had the 72 team. That's about it. That's about it. Yeah, the old 72 team.
Remember they went to the Super Bowl like his rookie season.
Yeah.
So that was just 10 years after those undefeated and then back-to-back Super Bowls. So Shula was still howling hard, and they thought he was going whatever. But Dan Marino told you, he was like, man, I thought we'd be here every year. He was like, I thought we'd be here every year.
They probably went on
He should have went to Minnesota. Remember, he got a chance. He got offered to go to Minnesota, and then he retired. Like, and I think Randall Cunningham took the job. Boy, they were bombing that thing with Randy Moss and Chris Carter, bombing that thing, man. So this dude,
I hear, before we get off politics, I hear Kamala is the front runner.
Cap.
That's Cap?
Nah, I mean,
AOC?
Nah, definitely not.
Oh, that's what I've been checking in the blogs.
Because, the folks that's into, other than us, because we talk about it every week, but the vast majority of the people, whatever, they not up on that until after Labor Day of the election year. We years, like right now, I remember I was with Jeb Bush 2016. That was my guy, and he was leading in all the polls, and he had over 100 million banked. So when he finally entered in, man, he wasn't ready for the new style of politics. Trump killed him, bro.
Trump came out of Iowa,
bruh. The only way Bush could have stopped Trump is when Trump was talking straight up about him, talking about his wife, but he was going off on the man. Low energy Jeb. Low energy, he great to name him.
Still trying to play traditional.
He was on the traditional, like I'm gonna be up there when they go low, we go higher. and he didn't know the new thing. It was like if you ever see the scene from Pulp Fiction when John Travolta comes back from hiding. Remember, he's like in the beginning of the movie, he's hiding in Europe. You know, when he first comes back and he's like him and Sam Jackson riding around. He's like, you know what they call a Whopper with cheese in France? He's like, what do they call a Whopper with cheese? Like a Royale or something, whatever. He just telling them all the stuff, you know, that's going on. And he encounters Bruce Willis right after Ving Rhames' character was just telling him, you know, that's pride. You know, you take this money to throw the fight, and he was like, whatever that is that's telling you not to do, he said, that's pride. He's like, that's pride. But this money, you go overcome that. And so Bruce Willis is going through it, like in his head, because he's like, man, I never thrown a fight in my life, but I'm going to take this money. And then he sits at the bar to like get a light or get some cigarettes or something like that. And John Travolta is just there, and he sit down next to him and like taps him or whatever. And Bruce Willis is like, hey, whatever. And John Travolta's on 1,000. He's like, yeah, punchy. You know, he just like, dude, like, excuse me, like, do I know you? He's like, huh? What? You know, John is like on 1,000. He on 1,000. So that's my point. You gotta watch like people that's on 1,000, and Trump is on 1,000, and Jeb was like low energy Jeb, and what he should have did, he should have walked over to Trump and whispered in his ear and said, "You got one more time." He said, "You got one more time, or we're gonna see if the rumors is true. Because I'm gonna give you a wedgie. I'm gonna have your pants. I'm gonna have the loop of your pants belt over your head, and we're gonna see whether or not you got a diaper on, whether or not you wearing a pimp or something like that." But you know, instead, what's up, Doc? Instead, your boy just tried to keep it high. He just tried to keep it high, and in trying to keep it high, man, it was like he don't even know. Like, we're on a whole new political game, and he's done.
I think that was a telling sign that politicians don't have they're not used to being around regular people.
Right.
So Jed, I think the difference between Trump, even though he's a wealthy man, he's got he know the voice of no Teddy. He got the voice of the regular people. You know, he understood.
Yeah, he used to hang around with the builders and the construction people and go out there and pretend to be like one of you guys and other stuff like that, and the WWE stuff. And so I think he had the pulse of you know, the people who felt neglected, forgot, left about, or whatever. Like folks who, when you think about it, been takers for thousands of years, not just the hundreds of years, thousands of years taking, you know. And not only do they take, but after they take, they turn around and change the verbiage, so you don't even know that they stole it.
I don't think any career politician would have went the route that Trump went, because
no one had gone that route before. I would say the closest person that may have gone that route, and they still didn't go that route, was Warren G. Harding, who was like a businessman, and he was appointed like Secretary of Commerce, but he still had a cabinet position, but he was straight, you know, private sector. Like, he had never done anything in government or the military, because we had other guys, you know, Eisenhower, we had what's the Old Hickory, your boy from Tennessee, Old Hickory, Andrew Jackson, Ulysses S. Grant, you know, George Washington. You had other guys, you know, straight from a military background, and they was given a pass because, you know, it's the government, You know how to take orders. You know, the ultimate sacrifice. But just coming like just from a business perspective, you know, that's and again, people could have argued to your point earlier, Step, about the spirit of the law. The spirit of the law for presidents had been basically you had to be a former senator, a former governor, you know, and that was like an unwritten rule. That was kind of the spirit of the law. However, the way the law was written, all you have to do is be 40 years old and a natural born of the United States, which they made exceptions for Ted Cruz, who was born in Canada, and they made exceptions for John McCain, who was born in Guam, as far as the natural born. But the exception that we were speaking about earlier, when you talk about diplomatic immunity, when they were debating the 14th Amendment, that if your parents are stationed or if you somewhere for work or whatever, like, you know, McCain's grandfather was the head of the entire Pacific Fleet, you know, and his dad was, you know, higher up, you know, so like, you know, they were stationed over there. So when he was born, it was like, of course he's American,
Right.
you know,
He
of course
was on
he's
the
American.
land.
Yeah, so that's what we were saying as far as that. But Teddy, good to see you, my brother. The floor is yours, man.
Since, you know, you rubbed off on me these last 7 years, and I went and found a brother who's a Republican that's running for House Representative 108 in Miami, Florida, introducing Juancito Francois.
Good evening, brothers.
Good evening.
I know when you said a Republican, that sound really like wow.
It ain't no wow.
He's a Republican. That's why I brought y'all
You
together.
mean he ain't no wow?
I wanted to be clear for the listeners. There's a huge difference between the party and the president.
Absolutely.
So we cool on that because we are Republican because we defend different value, morality,
Right.
respect.
Individual rights.
You know,
Government off, hands
Clear.
off. You know, work hard. You know what I'm saying? Pay your taxes.
of course,
You want less government, not more
good
government.
citizen, good
Yes,
become a
yes,
good citizen.
Yeah.
So,
And like Step.
law
you know,
and order is good,
Absolutely.
but it should be good for everybody, not for
Everybody.
some people, for everybody.
I agree with you.
So that's basically why I'm running out on a Republican ticket. Like let me make it clear. Media may pick that wrong, but let me make it clear. I was running 2 years ago in a Democratic ticket. I didn't leave Democrats. Democrat left me. Because the same value that I defended, I still defended it today. Because I do believe family is man and a woman.
Right.
So Democrat forced me
Right.
to believe it oppositely.
Exactly. We don't want a person born
Yeah.
a man to be competing in swimming, in boxing, or soccer,
Yeah.
with
Listen,
our daughters.
hear me on this. I respect the other one feelings, views,
And ability to exist.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because for me, everybody, they are human beings.
Agreed.
We respect that. Even my Bible, I'm not preaching Bible right now. Even my Bible told me that whatever decision you take in your life, he come with the consequences.
Agreed.
But I'm not God. I'm not gonna judging anybody.
Right.
But you cannot change me and one day to become you, and you refuse to accept me to be who I am. You know? So yeah, I'm running on the Republican ticket. The value that I'm defending is not.
And this is the seat vacated by Sheffield McCormick.
No. That's
Which one?
state. That's the state.
No, she's running for Congress.
That's
No, that's the
Broward.
state Florida,
It's-
Miami.
It's Miami and
That's
Broward.
it.
Yeah, it's Miami. Yeah, her district touches because Dr. Maurice is running.
Yeah,
We're
no, we're not
so
on
you're
the
not in
federal
that
level.
race.
We're talking
Oh, you're
about
on
the
the
state level.
Okay.
which is basically let me. Can I say it that way? I don't
You
want
can
to
say
say
it,
like
just don't curse.
educated my people. No, I don't curse.
Okay, so you can
The
say
5
anything
men
you
that I
wanna say.
raised, we don't even know how to curse sometimes. But everybody has
So
their
you
time.
think-
Yeah, you know what I'm
Okay.
But what happened is Tallahassee has 120 state rep.
Mm-hmm.
75 of them are Republican.
Yep.
Miami-Dade always make the wrong choice, choosing a Democrat to represent them in the House.
And they get nothing done.
I'm in the district since 2005. No improvement at all.
At all.
No
At all.
improvement.
And that's the thing, to your point. That's what, in the state of Florida, especially with the whole new gerrymandering and the congressional districts that are going to be drawn,
Mm-hmm.
I think our people, our community, should leave the Democratic Party and either register Republican or independent.
Yeah.
Either register Republican or independent, because that way, you know what I mean? Like, we still have we elect individuals like this as a Republican. But if we all just ride with the Democrats or whatever, knowing that they're already set up to lose, you know what I mean? Like, we're really not gonna have any power. But if you end up coming and getting coalitions with Haitians, Cubans, Jamaicans, African Americans, white folks who have similar values, you can go up there and make some changes,
Make some voice.
and make fairness,
Make
man.
some voice.
Florida growing up, Florida was a fair state. Even when they had Martinez
Yeah.
as the governor, you talking about Lawton Child,
Yeah.
you talking about Graham, who I think is probably the best governor that the state of Florida's ever had, Charlie Crist. We were a moderate place. I don't know what's
Jeff-
going on with Florida now.
Jeff was not a.
You ain't like Jeb?
He
Well,
was
I
not
mean,
a-
I don't like 1020 Life. That's Jeb.
Yeah. But
I'm not a fan of that. And then he got paid with his brother Neil off that software, and the school choice stuff. But I like the Bushes. I like the Bushes.
But listen, the reason why I'm running is because I am a voice of my community. I want to, try to step out of the party line, defend my community first. Whomever is the governor, so we as a body, we need to work together. There's no doubt. We are not elected to be on a dais or on a government body to fight one another. We need to have the work done for the people. But we never have anyone in Tallahassee.
Well, you had Bush. Don't forget, we had the brother Bush from down here. He just lost, but he constantly runs. You know him?
Yeah, Jeb Bush.
Yeah.
You mean
the black guy? The black
oh
guy.
yeah. The one that they replaced from
Yeah, they
District
replaced-
109.
Yeah, they replaced him. But
Listen.
he actually bought stuff back.
That's what
And
I was
they
about to
still
say.
voted against.
That's what I was about to say. Democrat. Let me not mention party. Party line in Miami-Dade County has a big problem. I've seen it in District 34 with Senator Daphne Campbell, who bought a lot of money in the district because of the Republican. She understand the dynamic. She decided to work
She
on
was like out of North Broward.
no Miami. It
Daphne
was
Campbell?
District 34. Yeah. Basically, yes, she's in Miami. Now because of the redistricting, he draw 34 more north instead of south. But he used to be in south more. What happened is she understand the government body. She worked with the Republican. She brought more money. That's why she brought a lot of money in the district. This is what the party does. They don't like that the fact that she worked with the Republican. they put Jason Pizzo against her. And look at what Jason Pizzo does the other day to the party. He slapped them in the face. So basically, we never have anyone who's in Tallahassee to represent us. I understand we need to defend the party value. However, the party is not the one who elect us. It's the people. What about their needs?
All right.
Good education system.
So, all right, we got you. I hear what you're saying. So tell the people your background and where you from and how you got into politics. And you may inspire somebody out there.
Basically, I come from very far. Like, I always tell people when I first came to United States, English was not even my fourth language. Even dreaming, speaking English. So, and I came to United States in 2005. From 2005, I was in Little Haiti at my auntie house. I know all
You
the...
was living a black existence.
Correct. And guess what? First job I had was at Chef Creole.
Black.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand my community very well.
Right.
Okay? You know, I first came to this country 2 years later in 2005, 2007. I had to work 2 months with Chef Creole. Then I got my paperwork. I do remember that. It was May 18, just today. After I leave work at the Chef Creole, come back to my house, find my paperwork. Okay? And, you know, I decided now to, take another move, and I decided to apply. Went to Aventura Mall, work as a, overnight graveyard shift. So, and from that moment, I decided to go to school. And I went to Miami. At first, I went to Lindsay Hopkins Technical School. Get learn to know how to speak English. To say I'm hungry, I need food. And then I moved from Lindsay to Miami-Dade in the vocational school, where I have to be upgraded a little bit from vocational school to EAP, which is at my time, it was English Academic Programs. So I had to take the CPT, college placement test. You see all the process. Then I'm in college. In 2012, I graduated Miami-Dade. No, 2009, I graduated with my bachelor. It was a associate degrees, which is I was double, minor in sociology, my major in criminal justice. Then I don't stop, and I moved to Florida International University. I earned my bachelor degrees in criminal justice, minor still in sociology, and I took a lot of classes over there because back then, financial aid pay a lot of credit for you, like real estate, paralegals, and income tax
stuff right there.
I'm telling
You was a Democrat then when you was getting them.
I told you at the beginning, I don't leave.
Getting them grants and scholarships.
Listen, they give in my country. I had to pay for my education. Here they pay me to study, and
that's a Democratic principle.
I take the advantage of the system, and guess what? I spent 5 years in my life sleeping in the couch, and now I'm able to rent people houses.
Hey, that's what's up, man. And that is the traditional story that of the traditional Republican Party, like the exact story that he's talking about. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and whatnot. And I would say, in jest, that some of those things were brought about going back to the New Deal. Franklin Delano Roosevelt from the New Deal, as far as and I think we need that balance. Like, we truly need a two-party system. And I think the Democrat Party, is for the folks who are on the way up. People who are on their way up, where they need a little helping hand. They need things or whatnot.
Just a push.
And it's a little bit of push. And then the Republican Party should be like, okay, y'all chill a little bit. Chill, like the gatekeepers, so to speak. Let's make sure that, folks that's coming in, like, coming in right, because we can't just let it just be totally wild out there. We gotta, have some guardrails and have some other stuff.
Rick, you in favor of a two-party system?
I am. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think the Democrat Party, if you look at it, I think you should take race out of it, because race has skipped. To Michael the Black Man's point, the Democrat Party of the South were the Ku Klux Klan. Those are facts. Those are facts. And after the Voters' Rights Act of 1965, Civil Rights Act of 1964, and the Mississippi Freedom Party, Fannie Lou Hamer, they would not seat them at the convention in Chicago. And, when they finally came to this compromise, all of the Democrats fled to the Republican Party. So you end up with Byrd from West Virginia, who was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. And it was like, oh, he's a Democrat.
They know it better than KKK. Yeah. So you just being fancy, but for some people.
Yeah, I'm definitely not. I'm not in favor of a two-party system. I think it locks you into the same train of thought. Like black people, we socially we conservative.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yeah. Kind of.
To a certain extent. Yeah. When it comes to LGBTQ, when it comes to LGBTQ, definitely when it comes to that, I think as a community we more on that. When it comes to the transgender stuff, I think that as well. But when it comes to staying out of people's bedroom, I think we don't. I don't want nobody in my bedroom.
No.
I don't want nobody.
It's your private life.
I don't want nobody up in there. I don't want nobody telling me
what to do with your...
how many children, we have unlimited kids.
I'm more in the favor of
like Nebraska.
No party.
That's system. Nebraska.
Everyone's independent.
so that's Nebraska.
Nebraska like that.
That's Nebraska. Like Nebraska, is like no party. Like they vote, but it's like. But I think it's better. But I think it ends up being better. You can do it in places like Nebraska, where you're talking about really a homogeneous population. Like it's very like Vermont, Wyoming, North Dakota, places like that, where it's like, But when you're in a diverse metropolitan, area, whatever, I think it should be more than one party. I think it should be more like Europe. Europe has like multi-parties where you can have like, you got one issue. That's your only issue, and that's it. Like y'all rolling, like y'all the Green Party, y'all just the environment and all that other stuff, man. But when you have just two parties and you just lumped into, so I missed your question when you first asked it. I didn't take it as in detail. But when you just have the two parties, because whatever works for one party, the next party, all they do is come in and adopt everything that they did. And they say, we're a big tent. So that's why if you go in there and do a census in the Republican Party, you're going to have libertarians. You're going to have what they call it, cabin, the log cabin Republicans, which is they LBGTQ folks in there. You're going to have the war hawks.
I believe so.
I mean, you're going to have the hawks, the ones that's like just the foreign, they want foreign intervention. They want foreign wars. They want all that stuff all the time. So you have the different and now you got MAGA. So you got a whole MAGA wing, which is whatever he says. Like, whatever he says. Like, because they don't even bother with a platform. It's just whatever he says.
Yeah.
So in that regard, I'm with you. So I wanted to re-answer that. But you get the last take. Tell us where we can find you, how we can contribute, how we can do everything we need to do to help.
Basically, right now the campaign is focusing on raising some money because my election would be on November 3rd, and there will be a primary in August. So I will not be on for now. I will not be on that primary because there is no
Right, no opponent.
winning against me. I asked them to go to www.1c2frenchiers for
You
Florida.
gotta spell that, bro.
I'm gonna do that. WANCITO FRANCIUS for Florida.com.
You don't want nobody to hit you up, bro. I hope you done purchase all the similar names, all the similar names whatnot that come in there, bro. Cause I got www.WUANCITOFRANCITS
CIUS. That's mine. Yeah, it's gonna direct you straight to my website. CIUS. 1C2 Frenchius for Florida.com. WANCITO FRANCIUS for Florida.
You gonna make a, boy. You gonna make a. This is gonna be the new Usher. USHERRAMOOND. If you gonna vote for him, you vote for me. You know, like,
But let's take it that way. Whatever he said.
right. Hey, we gonna find it. We gonna try to get some visuals up there for you.
Yeah.
As well when this airs on Saturday. What is this right here, man?
This is about a good Samaritan takes down the gun.
Oh yeah, I saw that, man. Check that out, bro. Check this story out, man. You know, and these two brothers, man, who saw and took him down. Oh, we out of town?
No, get your shirt off the mic.
No, my bad.
Good.
Yeah. And you know, shout out to the brothers, man. They don't show enough of us as good Samaritans, man. We do that a lot.
Yeah.
We do that a lot, man. I helped the dude today. It was raining, walking up the stairs of the courthouse, and Buddy was coming up the courthouse with crutches. And I was like, bruh, let me help you. He's like, no, man, I got it. So I was like, okay. I stepped back, and like the next step, he fell.
Yeah.
I said, no, bro, I got it. Come on. And he was just, you know, Buddy had like tattoos all on his face. I said, man, come on, bro. Like, I hate the fact that right now it's just so much tension. There's so much tension, bro. Like, everybody mean mugging, riding around, they ready to shoot. Like, everybody just rolling out, ready to shoot. Everybody.
We the South.
Man.
We're the Southern hospitality.
Man, bro, everybody. It's like you go and hold the elevator. Like in Publix, man, you see somebody coming to the elevator, and it's like when they start walking, like some people love to just back up and just give you that smile as it just closes on you. What is it gonna do to like put that out
and let it
and
come.
just hold it, man? Y'all come on,
Right.
ride with me
You know, it's really a gender war and a political war at the same time.
at the same time. And that's why with Kamala, man, like I don't want her to run again, bro. Like not right now.
I wanted to run again.
Nah, bro.
Run it again.
Bruh, but she was right about a lot of stuff.
Sitting there like, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.